7 game-changing truths I wish I knew before starting in cybersecurity. This is also advice that I've given to the 10 people I've helped get jobs. And these 7 steps will also stop you from being overwhelmed, save you time by avoiding all of the bad advice that is out there. Hi, my name's AJ. I've been in cybersecurity for the last 9 years, and on this channel, I teach all things cybersecurity for beginners. So let's get into it. So first of all then, cybersecurity isn't just one path. There are many, many different avenues and jobs that you can actually take. When I first started, I thought it was just hacking and defending, but there's many different roles out there, from your penetration testing, from your compliance like GRC, all the way to incident response and SOC analyst. And when I started out, I was trying to learn everything and chase every single job, and this was causing me to burn out and feel overwhelmed. So have a think about the different jobs that are out there. I started as a cybersecurity analyst. I personally still think it's the best role for beginners to start out in, but what you want to do now is go out and have a look at the jobs that you think you'll be interested and pick one that you think most of your skills could align to, or what you think you're most interested in, and then focus on that job and just learn what is required for that job. And then rule out all of the other jobs. Focus your time and your effort on that one job, learning the skills and hands-on practical projects related to that job. So step 2 then, now that you know what job you actually want to do, you want to build a second brain. What do I mean by that? When I first started out, my notes and my bookmarks were all over the place. There was no organization to what I was trying to learn. And I actually felt like I was starting from scratch every single day. And then I discovered the second brain concept. So what this means is that you just have a place that has a searchable and organized location for where you store all of your learning. This could be on something like GitHub. This could be on Notion. This will also be the basis of your e-portfolio as well for your projects. But ultimately, what you want to do is have a place where you're writing down all of your notes. It's formatted in a great way that you can easily search back through the information that you've already learned. Even your browser bookmarks, for example, maybe you've just learned about a new cybersecurity tool, maybe a new IP reputation check tool. You can list that in your bookmark for cybersecurity tools, even then have a subtask or sub bookmark that says IP reputation check tools. You want to get really organized, so this again reduces the overwhelm. And because we all know how frustrating it can be when you try to learn something and you feel like you've learned it and then you move on to something else, and then you try to go back to that original concept and you forget it. By having this organized second brain, this can allow you to not have to relearn something from scratch every time. So step 3 then is to actually learn in public. So when I first started out, I was very scared about sharing some information that I was going through or any projects that I was working on, because I was scared of showing others that I was making mistakes. And I felt like I didn't feel ready to share anything that I was learning. And now that you've started building out your e-portfolio, maybe through Notion or GitHub or in a community or even blog posts, go ahead and share this. You can even set up your own X account or even your own social media account, even on LinkedIn especially. Post about the things that you're working on. It's going to show others that you're interested in getting into cybersecurity. They can even correct any mistakes. You might be able to even reach out to other cybersecurity professionals. And what this is going to allow you to do is learn much faster. You need to get comfortable with saying that you don't know something. And by showing your work loud and proud, even showing your mistakes loud and proud, will allow you to learn much faster. When I first started out, I felt like an imposter, felt like I couldn't ask questions because I didn't want to make a mistake in front of other people who had experience. But when I started becoming comfortable, extremely comfortable with saying I don't know, this is when I started to learn much faster, and this is when I found my mentors as well. And I would highly recommend setting up your own X and Twitter account and even posting threads about your projects as well and anything that you're working on, because it's not only going to build up this social media presence. You don't have to put your face on there if you don't want to. You can give a nickname. You don't have to put your face there, don't have to make it public, but these kind of things can help you stand out when it comes to interviews and when it comes to actually trying to network with others as well. So step 4 then, certifications don't get you hired, labs do. So how I see it then is certifications help you get an interview, but labs give you the experience, home projects give you the experience to actually land the job. And now, as a beginner, if you don't have any experience, I do think you should do something like the CompTIA Network Plus and Security Plus. Even if you've got a cybersecurity degree, that can also hold some weight as well. But these things now are not enough to be able to help you land a job. You need your hands-on home projects. I've seen people with 5 certifications certifications who've gone into job interviews and they haven't been able to answer questions about the job role and the day-to-day role itself, or even prove that they can actually do it, and they've lost to somebody who has a actual e-portfolio that demonstrates that they can do the job that they've applied for. And remember, from step 1, whichever job that you've picked, so whether that being a SOC analyst, your projects need to relate to that role. So home projects such as setting up a SIEM at home, setting up some endpoint detection agents, for example. These are the kind of things that you need to actually work on while you're doing your home projects. They have to relate to the role that you're going towards. And also remember that things do change. So certifications are great with getting you through the door, but tech and cybersecurity changes fast. Now, what is required for a SOC analyst or cybersecurity analyst is to learn AI tools like workflow automation tools like Tines and Talk. These kind of things weren't asked for in jobs 2 years ago, and there actually aren't many certifications out there, if any, that are actually teaching these new skills now as well. So while certifications will get you interviews, these home projects will help you stay up to date more than the certifications, and they'll give you the experience to actually land the jobs. So step 5 then is building your leverage bank from day 1. So like we've said, your e-portfolio, your notes, all of this should be hosted on something like Notion, GitHub, even a blog if you want to do that instead, or even in a community. The reason for this then is that all of these become your assets. All of your diagrams, everything that you've got become assets that you now own, that you can use then to actually as leverage to maybe teach others. And if you're teaching others, these are the kind of things that you could talk about in job interviews, or even when you do land a job, there might be a specific concept that you've gone through in one of your e-portfolio projects that you can then relay directly into the job when you start. Let's say that at home you've built specific SIEM signatures to detect certain malicious activity. You could then use that information and create those detections inside the company that you're working for. And also by building these assets from day 1, let's say after a number of years of experience, you want to go freelance, or you want to become a consultant, or you want to become a trainer, then you've got all of this material that you can then use to build out maybe your own consultancy business or even your own mentorship business as well. So there's many different avenues, so that's why it's hugely important to build these assets and this leverage bank from day 1. So step 6 then, being a beginner is actually your superpower, because as a beginner, nobody expects you to know everything. And when I started to learn this and I started to feel comfortable saying I don't know, I started to learn much faster. Questions that I used to think were dumb, were stupid, I began asking them anyway, and I noticed that a question is a question. It doesn't matter if you don't know something, and this superpower is what actually led me to my mentors and actually helped me feel more comfortable training up and other people in the team as well, because they could see that I was asking these questions. I felt comfortable asking questions, so when I got more experience, they then felt comfortable asking me questions as well. So step 7 then, I actually see that visibility is starting to beat qualification every time. Now in 2025, you've got these AI and ATS application tracking systems going through everybody's resume. Everybody's very much similar with the experience that they've got, the skills that they've got. But what a lot of people aren't doing is posting to things like LinkedIn, posting and creating their own e-portfolio, writing their own blogs. These kind of things, especially through LinkedIn, could land you a DM from a recruiter. And these kind of activities are more active, even reaching out to recruiters on LinkedIn, expressing the projects that you've done, what jobs you're looking for, because everybody is trying to apply for the same jobs, which is making it more difficult to actually land interviews. So you need to do something different. And I actually think being more visible on things like social media, especially through X, for example, and LinkedIn, and creating your own kind of community there, and then making connections with recruiters, with other people in the industry through the content that you're posting is what can help you stand out. Now, once you've got your Notion template, you've got your Notion, you've got your GitHub, and you've got your e-portfolio, just start posting it in different places, get feedback, because this visibility could lead to more opportunities from recruiters or from companies who might see your posts. And this is advice that not many people are given. They say in cybersecurity, I'm introverted, you don't need to post on social media. Well, that might be the case, but I actually am seeing that there's more benefit now by creating your own kind of personal brand around cybersecurity, demonstrating your passion passion for it by going to these community meetups, sharing your blog posts on LinkedIn, sharing your e-portfolio, being a lot more active in the industry. As it gets more difficult, as AI does begin to change certain cybersecurity roles, you're going to need to do more to stand out. Having these certifications, like your CompTIA certifications, even just having a degree is not enough anymore. You need to do more to stand out, and e-portfolio is one great way to do that, but also creating a presence and visibility on social media platforms like X and LinkedIn as well. So to conclude then, you now know that you need to pick one job to start out with and just learn everything related to that job. You then need to start writing down everything that you've learned, start building your e-portfolio early on. Then you want to feel comfortable about learning in public, share your e-portfolio with others on LinkedIn and places like X. Remember that certs don't get you hired, labs do. Certs will help you get interviews, they'll give you a structured format, they'll hold some weight in the industry, but ultimately it's going to be your e-portfolio that is going to help you get experience to show that you can actually do the job. And make sure that you're building your leverage bank of your assets, of your learning assets from day one, all the diagrams and everything that are in your e-portfolio. Remember that down the line, these can really help you land jobs and maybe even start your own business one day. Remember that being a beginner is a superpower. Feel comfortable saying, I don't know, and this will really help propel your career much, much further. And finally, making yourself visible to everybody in the industry, posting on LinkedIn, posting on X, increase your visibility, share your e-portfolio with more people, and you'll see more opportunities come your way. Now, if you want to learn more about how I got into cybersecurity without any experience, go and watch this video next. I want to say thank you for watching. I'll see you over there.